everyone, and welcome to the best podcast for your New Japan Pro Wrestling content. This is Chris's Chaos at Channel Cortez 33. I am your host, Chris Cortez, and today we are reviewing Wrestle Dynasty, held in the Tokyo Dome December 5th. Oh, what December? What the hell am I talking? January 5th. My time is way off, and the reason why is because, man, they really catered to you Westerners, didn't they? It was a noon show for New Japan in Tokyo. And so, therefore, if you were in California, who they're really gauging the Western market, the West of the West, they made sure you could see it at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, tops, whatever. And then for those living on the East Coast, it was maybe 11 o'clock. For us, they started at 5 in the morning. No, sir. No, thank you. No, ma'am. Not going to get up that early, especially after watching a Wrestle Kingdom and doing a review. So I figured I'm going to sleep. We'll wake up when I feel like it on this pretty much end of holidays and watch it, take my time with it, take copious amounts of notes, and really enjoy it for what it was. And yes, it was a very good show, very good event. The card was stacked, as mentioned in my last review. You can check that out for Wrestle Kingdom 19 and the predictions, which there were some surprises, things that I wasn't really invested in as far as okay, if this happens, it happens, but definitely impressed. This was no doubt, in my mind, Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, but also giving a little of the other promotions to a little something to wet their beak into, because that's what it was. Yes, it was a little bit of a trade-off between promotions so that audiences from the West can view audiences from the East, as well as audiences from Britain. We'll talk about how Rev Pro was involved, CMLL, Ring of Honor, or AEW NXT was involved, and everything that was supposed to happen pretty much did happen. This show really set the tone for the new year, and New Japan has to be feeling good about what they presented and what they've given you after the event in its totality. We're going to get into it, and I am going to give you definitely a good amount of detail into each and every match. There were some matches where I just wanted to kind of sit back and relax, but watching it, by the time I was completely done watching this stacked card, after doing everything I needed to do around the house, spending time with my wife, watching all the episodes of season 4 of Evil, except the final one. So we're going to be watching that tonight, the final season episode. Is it the final episode of the series? My wife knows. I don't. I don't want to know. I'll know while I'm watching the show and getting a sense of what that episode is going to tell me. Are they wrapping everything up, or are they leading up to one more season? Because yeah, it's definitely good stuff. A little bit of corniness, a little bit of just to lighten the mood. My best example is that it is very much like a horror comic book based TV show. This could have totally been made into a comic book. Who's to say it wasn't already? I don't know. Maybe it was a comic book previously, or it should be. Hopefully a comic book publishing company will get their hands on that IP. Now, let's get into this. Like I said, things were great. I got right off the bat going to tell you the match of the night, no doubt about it. Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega. A lot of emotional twists and turns. A lot of things going on that makes me wonder just how bad was Kenny Omega's injury. Again, not trying to judge, but he came back looking better than ever. Yes, he's lost a little bit of weight, but that's going to happen if you're out of the ring and out of training for a bit. And if he's getting older now. He's getting into kind of the twilight years of his wrestling career. He still has several more years to go, though, and he shows it in this match. Gabe Kidd, as beast as ever, now taking a role that he had not previously had before. He was originally kind of like the enforcer of the New Bullet Club War Dogs. Now he's becoming kind of like a keystone figure of all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he has all the abilities, the charisma, the talent, the intensity, no doubt, to be playing this role. So that match was incredible. I really enjoyed the Ricochet Zack Sabre Jr. match. I wouldn't say it was the match of the night, maybe second or third, but it was excellent, an excellent clash uh, of styles, which I was a little worried about, but then I think twice, and I'm like, it's Zack Sabre Jr. He's going to be able to quarterback this match like the champ that he is. And Ricochet is only stepped up his game in terms of experience and wisdom. He's doing things in the ring that he's only he can do, but at the same time, he's pacing himself better and he's doing things that a heavyweight would do. He really does look more like a heavyweight than ever before. And the Konosuke Takeshita match versus Tomohiro Ishii was probably one of my personal favorites in that it wasn't a quick match, but it was straight up, never open weight match. They both just went right into fourth gear real quick and gave you a excellent little match to show you why these two are so hard hitting and really why Konosuke Takeshita, in my opinion, still to this day is the best professional wrestler in the ring today. Can't fight me on that. If you want to, you can try. But I'm telling you, he's up there. He's among he's in the conversation right now for being Wrestler of the Year for 2024. He would definitely be Wrestler of the Year for 2025. Another thing I was very impressed about was the women. The women put on a hell of a performance tonight. Both the four-way match, I was pleasantly surprised at how well they were able to pace themselves in the match. I do not like four-way matches unless they're like real four-way dance elimination matches. It always kind of makes me, concerned when I see these types of matches set up. I didn't think that they should have had a match like this. It should have been, two singles matches in the semis, and then leading up to a finals match between two women, but they pulled it off. So I'm okay with it. And then the women's match, the women's championships, winner takes all, the Rev Pro women's title and the New Japan Strong title between Mercedes Mone and make sure I can pronounce this correctly. Mina Shirakawa. They put on a hell of a performance. I was not expecting it to be that good. Mercedes Mone is back, stepping up her game. Big match nights. They had a big match feel, and she is known for being able to do that. When she wants to turn up the heat and take it to another level in big match situations, she does just that. And that's why I am so glad for the women performing tonight in this event. So, couple things. Wasn't expecting the Young Bucks to win the tag titles, but then again, is it really that big a surprise? Was obviously rooting for LIJ, but it made sense. It does make sense. Honestly, I thought United Empire was looking better than ever, but Jeff Cobb and Great Khan worked very well together, and I was hoping that LIJ would pull it, but it looks like the Young Bucks will be keeping a tie between New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW, which is a good thing, which makes sense, and I understand why they did it. The Young Bucks look good tonight. They kind of were giving us a little bit of a taste of the old Young Bucks, which I appreciate, and we'll talk about that more. The Junior Tag Team Championship, Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Division. It's the It's the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships with Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara taking on House of Torture's Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho. This was a great match. I think Kanemaru and Sho worked so well together, and I was very pleasantly surprised with how well Rhodes and Guevara worked together. Now they really are the Sons of Texas. And I can see why they are doing what they're doing. I've changed my mind. I concede. I think they do work as a very great tag team. Not to say that they don't belong in different positions, to say that Dustin Rhodes can still be an enhancement talent, but maybe this is kind of how he wants to go out. I'll give him that. But Guevara, yeah, he's going to need to be back in the singles competition limelight sooner than later, I hope, because he's still that good. We will get into that more. Even the gauntlet match, I was impressed with. I was surprised with what they were able to do with it. I did not enjoy how 1 minute after every minute they were throwing in people, and then they're like, okay, here we go. It was all chaos. I guess that's the lucha. It did have a lucha libre kind of feel with just all hell breaks loose and the rules are basically thrown out the door. I loved how there was a story though, with El Desperado being the kind of marked man, and loved the finish with Taiji Ishimori stealing the victory with a roll up out of nowhere. Great stuff. So looking forward to seeing Taiji Ishimori feud with Despe. That's going to be a story, hopefully, going in. Brody King versus David Finlay was an excellent, brutal match. I really wanted to see David Finlay extend the hand to King and say, look, you belong with us. You belong with the War Dogs. He would make for the ultimate monster enforcer of the Bullet Club. He looks like he belongs to the Bullet Club now. I have pictures I'll probably present throughout this review as to how great he fits Brody King. And they even have a history that the commentators were mentioning. I didn't know that Finlay and King already had a history going way back. He belongs in the War Dogs. He could leave the House of Torture. I honestly, sorry, not the House of Torture, the House of Black. To be honest with you, Aleister Black or Malachi Black, I mean, he really was the best when he was by himself. I'm just going to say it. He could have maybe one person with him, like, I'm trying to think, Julia Hart. Maybe she could be the only one with him. We'll call it that. And maybe just Julia Hart, and what's his name? I'm drawing a blank, but I haven't seen him in a minute, but he is excellent. What is his name? It'll come back to me during this review. But anyways, let's get to it. My point is that I think Brody King could do much more in New Japan. He would be a monster, like super monster in New Japan, and he works like a super fast big man. I mean, he's perfect. But maybe AEW probably want to keep him. So either way, this was a great match. Definitely highlighted both gentlemen and makes Finlay look good following his loss of his Global Heavyweight Championship to Tsuji, Yota Tsuji, who also had a very good match. I was very surprised with how well Perry was able to work with Tsuji in terms of just presentation. They both looked like they belonged in the ring together. Perry, I think, he is getting better and better. I still miss his old post Jungle Boy gimmick where he was kind of just saying, okay, I'm the Hollywood spoiled child. And I'm like the opposite of Jungle Boy. I loved that. Now he's the scapegoat, which is essentially just rooted in that brawl in the backstage with CM Punk, which just kind of annoys me. It does kind of make sense to him being one of the four pillars. I guess you could still say at the end of the day, he is the scapegoat of the four pillars, the scapegoat of AEW, of All Elite. But I still miss that gimmick. I really do. But his work in the ring is better than ever. It's just as good as it's ever been. And he's performing more like a heavyweight, which is a good thing. So I totally appreciate that match. Shota Umino, Claudio Castagnoli, another great match, small match. Again, both to serve. All these matches really did serve what I was predicting they would, to highlight, to kind of give the boost to the ones that won, like Shota Umino. He needed a win following his main event loss the night before Wrestle Kingdom. And he wins against a guy that is just a complete challenge, a hurdle in Claudio Castagnoli. It was a great match. Very impressed. So I think we've talked about pretty much there's more to cover. We're going to get into this more and more. But first, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. So let's talk about Wrestle Dynasty 2025 in full detail. The first kickoff match, okay, which I will be saying a lot of, is kickoff match, official match. And I'm just going to say, okay, this is the 9th match, the 10th match, the 11th match, and 12th match. Because really there was no kickoff to this. It was really just every single match was on the card. Whether or not you were able to watch the kickoff matches for free or not, whatever. All these matches were very much ingrained in the entire show. I think everybody was ready at the sound of the first match right here. The International Women's Cup 4-way match. Athena, Momo Watanabe, sorry pronunciation, Willow Nightingale, Persephone. The 1-1. I was not expecting Momo to win. I was expecting Nightingale or Athena, and that's really what the commentators were suggesting too. And Athena really came out like she was unbeatable. Beast. I really miss her. Seeing her all the time, and I'm glad I was able to see her in this setting, and I will be looking out for her more in AEW. Excuse me, by the way, if I have a little bit of a cold. No, what am I saying? Cold, sinuses, allergies. I'm feeling great, but oh, and one more thing. I also made sure I get some sleep in the morning to do this review, to watch my Detroit Lions, yes, defeat the Minnesota Vikings. We are now the #1 seed. Kings of the North, kings of the division, the conference. We will be the kings of this league before the Super Bowl, by the end of the Super Bowl, okay? You know it's coming, okay? Yes, I'm going to stop and have a little chat about this. Anyone who knows about NFL football history, particularly the Lions, will tell you the Lions have never been #1 seed. This is the first time they've ever been #1 seed in Super Bowl era history. Now everybody's got to come to Detroit and face them in the playoffs. This is not going to be easy for anyone to come to our house and take us on and try to steal our Super Bowl opportunity. It's not going to happen. So whoever does, it's going to take a whole lot of folly to take us out. A lot of flags and crazy, officiating or decisions made by Goff. Somehow, he's sometimes could be a wild card, but nah, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's that. All right. Wrestle Dynasty 2025. Feeling good, feeling ready to do this. It's going to be a lot, though. Hit that like or subscribe button one more time for you. All right, here we go. Anywho, Athena, she comes out really like her entrance music. Okay, she gets easily the best entrance music out of the box. They are throwing each other out of the ring to start this thing off. So we have Momo and Nightingale in the ring. And, I'm thinking to myself, it would have been more effective if they just had semifinals and a final bracket. That's it. Persephone and Athena looking good back in the ring. You get suplexes and a kick up by Athena. Hard kicks to Persephone. All 4 women in the ring, and I'm losing interest by the seconds. This is what's happening. But double suplex to Momo and Persephone. Athena breaks the pin count. This was by Nightingale, the double suplex. Then you get Athena with a senton off the top to the floor, where Nightingale and Momo are. Then Persephone, tornado twist, off the top of to the floor, hits Athena and Momo. Back to the ring, Willow misses the cannonball on Persephone, who then hits a tope on Athena. Get Germans by Persephone on Willow. Pin broken by Momo. She sets Persephone for the Tree of Woe. Drilla on Willow. We're going to see a lot of Drillas, drivers, throughout this card. Then we get a pin broken up by Athena. They start to exchange strikes. Does Athena and Momo. Willow in, hits the spine buster on Momo. Double code breakers. A lot of code breakers in this event. Athena, it's that Alabama slammer on Persephone to stack on Willow. For a cool pin attempt. There's a nice little spot. Big shoulder tackle by Willow to Athena. We get a gut wrench power bomb. Counter to roll-ups between Persephone and Willow. Excellent bridge. Northern Lights by Persephone. Choke slam by Athena to Persephone on the ring edge. Very sweet. Kicks by Momo to Willow. Gets caught, and a Death Valley driver into the corner. Momo is out. But Athena hits her finisher on Willow. And then, what is the name of Momo's manager? I think it's Tekler or Stecklin. I knew she was going to play a role, and here she is. She pulls Marty out of the ring, the official. I could have sworn Athena was going to win it by this point, but of course she comes into play. We get a big bat shot from Momo, just right in the face of Athena. I mean, it would have killed her in real life, no doubt about it. Peak sunrise. Momo wins with the pin on Athena. That valet plays a huge role, and go Lions, baby. And so we have it. Would have liked to. I mean, the finish is fine, but for some kind of a match with so much like tournament style, it's a tournament climate, so really didn't need to see the valet get involved. I thought it was kind of generic, but I was impressed with Momo and I was impressed with all 4 women in the ring. It was a great match to start this off. I'm gonna take a little sip. And I assure you, I've taken some sinus allergy medication. I'm going to be more than fine. The German stuff is good. So here we go. Second kickoff match. Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. So, House of Torture. They get off to a dirty start right off the bat. They're just jumping Dustin and Guevara. We get a leaping double clothesline, though, to shut that down by Dustin. Love seeing Guevara back in the ring working well with Dustin. It's great. Springboard off to the moonsault to Kanemaru on the floor. Beautiful. Guevara does it with ease, with perfection. Okay. House of Torture isolates Rhodes, though, which I was expecting this type of thing to happen. Sends him to the corner and out of the ring so that they can proceed to attack Sammy. You get a Boston Crab by Kanemaru, get a rope break, show in with a Ring of Honor belt to attack. No, instead he puts it on the mat, steps on it, starts rubbing his wrestling boot all over it for some good old disrespect. And Insecurity from Sammy to gain some space, but cannot get the tag, though he does elbow Kanemaru, send Show out of the ring. Then a face breaker to Show after he comes back in. Still can't get the tag. Insecurity to Kanemaru, then a tag to Dustin. Scoop power slams from Dustin Rhodes. To both members of House of Torture. We saw that, textbook Dustin Rhodes. Show with a spear bounces off of the torso of Dustin. I love that. Cracked me up. It was a great spot. Show is very entertaining. HOT, they regroup. They do the splits, the leg splits on Rhodes. It was fun. Wasn't it? You don't see that every day, but this is what you get with cross promotional stuff, especially with a guy like Dustin going up against a group like House of Torture. And they're great in the junior tag team division. They're perfect. They work so well together. And they're even more so like their outfits are more complementing each other. Then you get some whiskey in the eye by Kanemaru after a little bit of gold dust gesturing. You know what I'm talking about. Very cool. Follow-up to the gold dust gesture was the whiskey spray. But Kanemaru hits the knees. Hits the knees from the top. Cutter, though, by Sammy Guevara and a thrust kick. Dustin Destroyer takes a big swig of whiskey. Okay? This guy can handle his whiskey. Sprays Kanemaru right in the face. You get a kick from Sammy. Final reckoning into a beautiful swanton from Sammy for the pin victory. It's a nice finish. Very, very happy with the second kickoff match. All right. So then we get to the first official match. I honestly thought that I was watching the kickoff match was the gauntlet match, and I somehow skipped the first two matches, and I was like, okay, I need to make a point that I'm watching this first match after the second kickoff match. But anyways, I've come to find out this is the first official match. Okay, and I'm okay with that. It worked out. We get the gauntlet match. Hachicero and Kosei Fujita start this one off after a minute, though. Soberano Jr. comes out. He's looking like blasphemous as hell. He's got the crown of thorns. It was just Mexican lucha libre Jesus, superstar match Jesus. Couldn't make this up. I definitely can go in the ring. Crossbody in the ring, hits Fujita, then Hachicero. Another minute, Master Wato comes out. Haven't seen him in a minute. He's the best of the Super Junior 30 winner. Very much enjoyed that series. A lot of fun. Get a hard shot from CMML Jesus, Soberano Jr. And then out comes Mascara Dorada. I'm just going to say it's mascara. That's what it looks like to me. Mascara Dorada comes out looking like Osprey in a mask, I swear. And he's working like Osprey in a mask. He's bouncing off the springboard, looking like the rubber band man on those ropes. He hits a suicide on Soberano. Then to Hechicero, Taiji Ishimori comes down. A smile, grin comes on my face. He's going to slow things down with his brutality. And he does with fists to Dorada. Then a cutter, but he's also doing some high-risk maneuvers, and I'm loving it. He's keeping the pace at his level, but he's still, keeping it in like third or fourth gear. Loving it. Shoulder breaker, then La Mystica to the bone lock. Out of nowhere, Titan comes out and they're claiming apparently he's CMLL. I've always kind of associated him with New Japan since he is a member of the Los Ingobernables de Japon. Come on, but whatever. Okay, so for now he's CMLL. He's looking better than ever though. Nice tornado off the rope. A thrust kick to Dorada does Titan, and then you get El Desperado for the last entry. He's the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion won it by default. So everyone's kind of eyeballing him and marking him as like the guy that basically is a super target, not only because he's the champ, but because he's not really like a champion who won it, fair and square, hard fought. Not really, no. So everybody's like, I'm going to take a piece, take a shot at this guy, and eventually I'm going to take his belt, take his strap. Everybody in the ring stops and just starts pointing at Desperado. They're like, and they're claiming, I want the title. They all run down the ramp. They attack the champ. Great moment. Back in the ring, suplex from Dorada, drivers from Hechicero, all on Desperado. Drop from Watto. They're just scooping him up over the shoulders and just slam him down on the mat. It's great. Nothing pretty here, okay? Titan gets some Soberano, drop slam. I mean, just beat down. Slam from Ishimori, one from Fujita, pin attempt from Hechicero, and finally people start breaking it up. They're like, okay, we can't let somebody, this gangbang comes to an end, okay? After a pinfall is attempted. Spinning bear hug by Hechicero. Very cool, into a backbreaker. I do love that spot from Hechicero. You get a tope from Fujita onto Hechicero. Ishimori with a moonsault onto a group of competitors on the floor. You get Dorado with a tornado onto his opponent. It's like a spinning tornado move, right? Can't even pronounce the name. Nice moonsault from Titan and Watto with an over the top onto the group. Dorado with a shooting star off the rope to the rest of them on the floor. All kind of just showcasing what they can do at this point. Back in the ring, Fujita attempts a pinfall on Despe. And Despe attempts a victory roll. No go. Then Fujita with that stretcher surfboard. Ishimori out of nowhere. After throwing the ref into Fujita, he pulls a stack clutch roll up on Desperado for the win. So no doubt he has a shot for the title. I'm calling it. Like, he's going to go after that belt. I think he is always the guy that should be the next in line to win the title. They've been playing hot potato between Desperado, and then now Doki's been in the hot potato mix. Meanwhile, Taiji Ishimori gets it. He's gotten it, but like he hasn't had a real reign. Give this guy some time with it. He's the man. At the end of the match, CML wrestlers show their love to Tokyo. I like that. This is a great start, official start to the show. Then you get your second official match, special exhibition match, Katsuyori Shibata versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I did not mention this at the beginning of this video, and now I know. I remember why. Probably the worst match of the night, if you can even call it a match. That's why it's a special exhibition match. There were no rules really given to us. If there were, then I must have missed them, because it seems to me like the rules to this match were, okay, you're going to let you guys chop each other for 2 minutes and see who passes out. I don't know what the hell to say. This was pointless, okay? This is basically what happens when you're the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I got to get a spot in for this night too. I already had a great match, feel-good match with Evil. Why don't we have a chop fest between me and Shibata? What the hell? Let's also get Shibata into the mix so he can say he had a match at Wrestle Dynasty. This was terrible. This did not belong on a 12-match card. You could have easily taken this one off and maybe thrown one of the matches in the kickoff or whatever the hell you want to do, or just one kickoff match would have been great, and then have 10 official matches, and that's it. This was pointless. Definitely disappointed. This was definitely the letdown of the night. Which is not a bad thing, because everything else was, I thought, fantastic. And this was a clear-cut disappointment to anyone who watched this. Had to have been thinking, okay, scratching their heads and wondering what the hell was this. Let me take a little swig of the water, and let's get into this real quick. I mean, I just sat back, watched these two lock up, wondering what the hell was going to happen. And they're exchanging chops as you figure would happen at a Shibata match. But they're trading shots against the ropes, the quarter, one headbutt from Tanahashi. And he goes for a snap drag, and it's avoided by Shibata. They stop the clock at, 2 minutes. They shake hands, and that's it. It's a no contest, I guess. This is ridiculous, right? It pays to be the prez of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So by the end of the night, we'll talk about Hiroshi Tanahashi again. He was in tears, I guess, because of how he was able to see his boy Omega still pull off a great match like he did. Maybe or maybe he was upset that he was walking himself back on a plane to go back to the United States to continue with AEW. Or maybe Tanahashi was crying because he was like, I just witnessed a hell of a match, and I went ahead and put on this 2-minute shit show of a slap fest, a chop fest with Shibata for no apparent reason. So, but I love you, Tanahashi. No worries. You're still cool in my book. So we get to the fifth. This is now the fifth match of the night overall. Okay, I'm going to stop saying kickoffs and officials, whatever. This is the fifth match of the night. Winner takes all championships. Rev Pro champion Mina Shirakawa versus New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong champion Mercedes Mone. And from this point on, every match, I swear, is serious, is all business. And I'm loving it, okay? We've had our fun. Now we're getting to the real deal matches. All 8 of these matches are legit, okay? I do want to point out, okay, and this reminded me of the time in each match. Let's get into it. I want to talk about the times. Every match had a good amount of time moving forward. The first match, which was the 4-way, 11 minutes and 13 seconds. Thank God that was it. I didn't want to see any more than that, and it was good. The Texas Sons of Texas match versus the House of Torture match, the Ring of Honor World Tag Championship match, 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Fine, that's cool. Again, these are 2 kickoff matches, so I'm okay with that. Then you get to that Lucha Libre match, which was a very fast pace, a lot going on. It kept my attention at 16 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm very impressed with this match. The rules were ridiculous. I mean, the way that they were entering in was ridiculous, but they really got the most out of 16 minutes and 23 seconds. So I was very impressed with that. They're timing this Tanahashi Shibata match, which on Wikipedia is pointing out grappling rules exhibition match. Tokyo, the Wrestle Dynasty New Japan website called it a special exhibition match. I'm just calling it a slap shit show, okay, because that's what it was. They're clocking it at 5 minutes. Great. To me, it was like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It was pointless. 5 minutes, not needed, okay? But either way, we're going to get to this Mercedes Mone, Mina Shirakawa match, 14 minutes and 6 seconds. And I tell you, it was exactly what it needed to be. Could they have gone a little bit longer? Sure. I think when you get to that 15-minute mark, you are able to do what you need to do. If you can get to, I think anything between 15 and 20 minutes is perfect. In terms of a mid-card match, yes, this is a women's championship match, but it's not the main event. But they will do what they need to do. And so they did. Mone, she comes out looking good. This white gown with the tiara, looking cool, you know? It was almost like the hair was orange and the tiara was orange. So it kind of like the tiara kind of matched the hair, you know? She always knows how to put on a good presentation. I love that about her. She ever since she left WWE and joined New Japan, she's taken her presentation to a whole nother level. For those of you who've never, that aren't familiar with Mone, but obviously are familiar with Sasha Banks and you love Sasha Banks, see how well she does in terms of presentation, looking and the way she makes herself look when she comes down to the ring. So very cool. And then the song, the entrance music, the CEO chants, it's a little more than that now. It does break into like a verse, which I'm more than happy with. I still can't stand all the CEO chanting. I could give me like 5 CEO chants and then stop. But whatever. They get into it. Running the ropes a little bit, some exchange, some attacks. Mone quick to apply the statement maker, right? These are like her, I guess you could say it's kind of a variation of a crossface, if you will. And then she gets the baseball slide, suicide dive to keep Mina down on the outside. Then thrown back in, Mina stops Mone in her tracks, up on the top turnbuckle, begins to work the leg, slams the leg on the turnbuckle post, figure 4 around the post, Hitman style. Loved it. From that, all of a sudden, I'm loving Mina. I'm loving it. Hitman's my favorite. So anytime I see that maneuver on the post, it just always gives me a smile. Get a great Meteora from Mone off the top, and I'm invested. I'm already invested now. Mone drops on her knee. We get an elbow from Mina. She hits a knee breaker on the knee. I mean, now Mina is working that right knee, okay, which is not common. Usually workers are worked on the left side. But in this case, I guess there is an injury on Mone, so she's tracking down. She's isolating that right knee. And let's see. She gets, Mone hits the double knees to the hanging torsos. Great spot. It's textbook Mercedes Mone. Sasha Banks sets her up between the ropes, strikes down. You've seen it. However, Mina catches Mone's third meteor, slams her knee into a quick figure four. Quick Mina. A kick from Mina off the springboard. A few more attacks exchanged before a tornado DDT off the ropes for Mina. But she gets caught in Three Amigos. Textbook Banks Mone. However, massive DDT from Mina off the top. Sets Mone up on the electric chair into a face plant. She caps it off with a figure four in the center of the ring. Mone was able to get to the ropes. Sleeper slam from Shirakawa and a near fall. Reverse driver from Mina. And still just a near fall. Another avoided, and Mone hits a code breaker. Then another near fall by Mone. Mina, she hits this like faceplant maneuver into a submission. Backslides from Mone into a small package. Then you get the moneymaker from Mone for the 1, 2, 3. The money, I don't even know how to really describe what it was. Cool. It did look cool. Can't remember if it was like more like a pile driver or like a Falcon Arrow variation, but it looked cool. It's one of the best matches I've seen from whether it's Sasha Banks or Mercedes Mone in a long time. I was very impressed. I was not impressed with what she did in AEW. A couple PLEs I was watching. Nah, this was it. Go back and watch this match just for that. Both women should be proud of their performances. Mone, she now has 3 titles. Oh, yeah. She reaches out for a handshake to Mina. Mina's not having it. She slaps it away, says, I want one more chance. She's emotional. But now, Mone, TBS champion of AEW. She's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. And now, she is the Rev Pro Women's Champion. She's collecting, trophies and belts. She's depositing them into her bank account. Okay? She is just acquiring, all right, subdivisional conglomerates of, now I'm just losing it, but I'm trying to hit these bank company CEO metaphors, right? She's just becoming an umbrella of companies. You see how much I know about this. Moving forward. So you get the 6th match of the night. Oh yeah, now things get a little brutal with Brody King versus David Finlay. Right off the bat, you see Brody King has more of like a soldier look to him. He's not looking like his gothic monster kind of House of Black look. No, he's looking more like a war dog. He's looking more competitive. This is a side I did not see because I haven't really been paying too much attention to AEW between now and All In and whatever All Out. Where Bryan Danielson basically like retired. Okay, since then, and obviously the little grudge match between Strickland and Adam Page. I'm sorry, you're going to have to, I'm going to get back in, don't worry. But, to all those who are the AEW faithful, super marks out there. Yeah, no, in order to get my attention, you got to earn the right. You got to make sure you're doing as good as you, so much so that the clouds burst out of the, transcend your wrestling bubble and hit my ears so that I can say, okay, now I do need to go back and see everything and catch up. Otherwise, I'm just focusing on New Japan. I'm doing it to WWE too. But I'm seeing exactly what I wanted to see from Brody King, which was someone who is all business, going to take it to David Finlay. All right. And even more so is someone who belongs in the War Dogs. So it's a no-brainer. He belongs with the War Dogs, but we'll see. That probably won't happen. Got this Hatebreed music, even more so of anyone who knows Hatebreed, right? Will agree with me on this. They are hardcore metal, just straight hardcore metal, okay, of the old school. Even their looks are very sporty, okay, soldier style. Like, it's not like, devil like horns and it's energy music, okay? It's screaming energy music to just basically perform as hard as you can to say you can do it without passing out on the stage, okay? And that's what it is. Simple but effective music that hits And that's essentially what Brody King is. He's going to go hard, he's going to be intense, and he's going to do whatever he needs to do to not pass out on the stage. Moving forward. Meanwhile, you got Finlay coming out with that fur and pleather. Some bullets for a belt. He's pissed. No gold. He still has Gato. All right. King overpowers Finlay right off the bat at the start of this match. Shoulder tackle, front kick. Nothing fancy. Over the shoulder slam. Finlay catches him with a kick to the knee to bring the big man down just for a bit. Massive chop from King, but Finlay able to gain distance for a chop block after a stunner. And Finlay clotheslines King out of the ring. Then there's the mention of King being a perfect candidate for the membership of the War Dogs. Go figure. It's coming up from the commentating team. Come on. Finlay misses his target. Maybe it'll happen on Dynamite or something, or on a Collision or something. That's what we need to happen. Anyways, Finlay misses his target, slams right into the barricade. Crossbody into Finlay. Sitting on a chair does Brody King. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, all right, this match is exactly where it needs to be. This is going to be a lot of fun. Once I saw that, you get a senton splash by King, then a pin attempt, another big chop from King, more strikes, Finlay over his head, gets crashed into the opposite corner. Gato screams, wake the fuck up. Beautiful. Love it. Love it when Gato gets vocal. Finlay does gain momentum, almost gets put in a sleeper, rakes the eyes before Finlay then runs into King against the barricade. He goes to the top and leaps to where King is on the floor. Back in the ring, running forearm uppercut, but he gets swept off the corner into a Death Valley driver by King and a near fall. Massive clothesline from King into a pile driver and a pin attempt. Goes for the power bomb. Okay. Finlay avoids it, hits the spear, near fall. Beautiful, right? Finlay really stepping up his game against the big man. Running clothesline to the back of the head of King. Again, you get a near fall. All right. King back up, hits a Death Valley driver against the ropes. Barks for momentum again. You know, could this be any more foreshadowing of him joining the War Dogs? Hits that cannonball, ferocious. Get a big chop, goes for a suplex, but Finlay fights, hits a faceplant, and then this beautiful, awesome power bomb in the center of the ring by David Finlay, showing how, and the commentators point out, this guy has more strength than most to be able to just lift up Brody King just like he did and slam him as hard as he did. Just shows you this guy is a big time player. Hits the overkill on Big Brody King for the 1, 2, 3. Great match. I was very impressed. Okay. This match went 12 minutes and 53 seconds. Perfect. It did what it needed to do. This is not a championship match. It's just a straight singles match. Did what it needed to do. You know, again, it's almost close enough to that 15-minute mark. Again, I'm gonna count this. This is the minimum for this card. This is probably the minus obviously the slap shit show. This was the shortest match of the night, in terms of minus, we're not counting the kickoff matches, but this was the shortest match of the night, and especially the shortest match of these last 8 all business matches. Okay. So here we go. And every match following is going to do what it needs to do. We got Shota Umino versus Claudio Castagnoli. This one went 14 minutes and 31 seconds. Didn't feel like it. Okay. Especially after that barn burn, that brutal fest between Finlay and King. This one was just as brutal, but a lot of awesome technical ability between the two. 14 minutes, 31 seconds was perfect. All right. We're going to get into this one. You got Claudio attacking Umino from behind, in the back during the entrance, Umino's entrance. No big surprise there. A lot of shit talking from commentators talking about how Jon Moxley did not accept this challenge from Umino, instead sent Claudio after Umino. They make their way to the ring, get a beautiful drop kick from Umino. He gets caught on the outside, and Claudio tosses him around the barricade and into the ring post. This is pound for pound the strongest man in AEW and all of pro wrestling. Umino tossed over the barricade and into the commentator desk side for a count to 16. Back in the ring, more attacks. Nice double stomp. Nice gut wrench slam into the crossface by Claudio. Umino gets some energy back, but only to get more offense from Claudio. This is just a beat down by Claudio while Umino kind of builds his way back. And he does soon after Hits that tornado DDT. We get a spike DDT onto the ring apron by Umino. They fight outside. Massive spike DDT on the floor by Umino. Taking a little bit of page from Okada, and then we get the key in the, we get a nice missile drop kick back in the ring and the trident from Umino, near fall. Key in the ignition, but no Death Rider, not just yet. Claudio strikes with uppercuts after fighting off. The Death Rider goes in the middle of the rope, tosses Umino. Running lariat, near fall by Claudio. Delivers the tornado spin for 20 rotations. Another near fall. Sharpshooter applied by Claudio. Umino makes it to the ropes eventually. Claudio goes for the neutralizer. Cannot get it, so he strikes Umino with a barrage of offense. All right. Heavy hitting. Takes Umino to the middle rope again. This time Umino fights off and positions for a DDT off the top. He hits the Blaze Blade to the back of Claudio's head, who missed that uppercut. Hits the Ricola powerbomb, does Claudio. Really working that Swiss Superman gimmick, huh? Then you get one more round of attempts to end this thing with the neutralizer, but Umino in the end is able to get the last move in with the Death Rider. You get a pinfall victory, and Umino's victorious. He needed it. He needed this one. Claudio extends his hand for a handshake, but instead gives him the FU with the forearms. Oh yeah, it's Blackpool Combat Club mentality all day. Like I said, 14 minutes, 31 seconds. This one did what it needed to do. Let's get into the Konosuke Takeshita with Don Callis for the second night in a row, doing double duty. I got to give a shout out now to Shota Umino, to David Finlay, and now to Konosuke Takeshita. We're going to talk about Zack Sabre Jr. in a little bit and Yota Tsuji. Okay, these 5 guys have done double duty work for real. I'm not going to give Hiroshi Tanahashi the accolade of this, because you cannot tell me that he did double duty these last 2 nights with a nice match with Evil, but then a little slap shit show with Shibata. Not going to get it, buddy. Not going to give it. President Sir. Anyway, still great jobs, great applause and flowers. They go out to these guys. Despe too. Despe, granted, he only had a 5-minute match or so with Doki, but he definitely put in his all. Took a lot of hits. Maybe this was a little bit of saying, hey man, you didn't work really last night. Let's go ahead and beat you down for the Lucha Gauntlet match. Going to give it to these next guys though. Finlay, Umino, right? And going to give it to Yota Tsuji, right? And this next guy, the best in the business, Konosuke Takeshita. Tomohiro Ishii. Hard-hitting match. 13 minutes, 30 seconds. All right, let's get into this. Winner takes all Never Openweight Championship and AEW International, both held by Takeshita right now. Bell sounds, they lock up, some strikes exchange. They crash into each other. It's expected. Takeshita wins the exchange, though. One elbow strike brings Ishimori down. Or Ishii down. Not Taiji Ishimori. Tomohiro Ishii. I've never really seen that like this. I'm getting a sense throughout this match. Now, don't get me wrong, because Ishii is going to come back firing with all cylinders. I've never gotten a sense, though, that a guy like Takeshita is going to out-brutalize Ishii. I've never seen anyone really do that quite like this, with just one elbow shot. I'm getting a sense that Ishii is like, I'm starting to kind of get to my end years. I got to hand off a baton to somebody. Might as well be the best in the business right now, because that's really what it's showing. Meanwhile, you got Takeshita, who can do it all. He can be your high flyer. He can be your technical wrestler, your brutalizer. He can do it all, this guy. This guy's got all the tools, but he's showing it in this Never Openweight Championship bout. And then there's still going on with the offense between Takeshita. Ishii, he's showing some signs of opposition. Ishii gets Konosuke in the corner for some chops. Runs over Takeshita with the shoulder. Now you're seeing Ishii back to where he needs to be. Hits the side suplex after some resistance from Takeshita. Front kick, but does not affect Ishii. Dodges the senton, but not the German. And a pinfall from Takeshita. Takeshita hits the Blue Thunder Bomb. Sami Zayn, eat your heart out, man. because this is the best Blue Thunder Bomb in the business. And get Raging Fire from the second rope by Takeshita, but only a near fall. Ishii fights back, but Death Machine Driver and a wheelbarrow German suplex, lariat to take Ishii's head off. Still only a 1 count. Ishii is just like, I can't go out like this that quickly. And Takeshi's like, what do I got to do? This is great. Get a German by Ishii, but Takeshi lands on his feet. Then gets hit with a lariat by Ishii. Pin attempt, only a 1 count. Forearm exchanges, and Ishii appears to have won this. But then Takeshita gets back up with a hell of a forearm from the middle rope. Ishii somehow behind Takeshita hits an Ishii Hurricane Rana. All right, I've seen it all tonight after this night. Headbutts exchange. Oh, yeah. Lariat from Ishii and another very near fall. Ishii takes Takeshita, lifts Takeshita, who capitalizes with a suplex. And a big forearm from Ishii, sliding lariat, vertical drop by Ishii, blocked into a nasty poison Rana by Takeshita. Takeshita blocks the enziguri, but not the second one. Forearm. It was, I think Ishii blocks, I think he blocked an enziguri. Takeshita blocks an enziguri, but then Ishii hits an enziguri, finally, the second one. But then you get this forearm by Takeshita. And then after that, it's Raging Fire. It's over. 1, 2, 3. Hell of a match. The commentary team are just on fire, and I don't blame them for good reason. They are for 13 minutes and 30 seconds. This match was a barn burner. Did what he needed to do. So let's go to the ninth match. 3-way match for the vacant IWGP Tag Team titles. More and more, I'm thinking, wow, they're doing everything I'm predicting in terms of giving the matches that need to be given to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Thinking they're going to give it to the Young Bucks. Members of LIJ both come out with their respective trophies from the Tag League tournament, showing they're on the same page, more or less. Young Bucks come out to their old New Japan Pro Wrestling Ring of Honor entrance music. They're dressed more like the days of yore. I'm feeling it. So bell sounds, United Empire and LIJ, they duke it out while the Young Bucks are cheering them on. Yeah, kill each other. It's pretty funny. They get stricken off the apron. And then Cobb runs over to Takahashi. And Bucks take out the time bomb against the barricade. Some teamwork by LIJ to take out the Bucks. Khan starts to clean up the LIJ. Nice 540 kick by one of the Bucks. They are very vocal after every attack. They literally do sound like Street Fighter characters, like calling their attack after every move. Cobb shuts down the super kick party before it could even kick off. Matthew, or the one with the mother of pearls, right? Hits a series of Northern Lights, then a double Northern Lights on LIJ. Germans by United Empire to clean house again. You get a super kick party on Cobb. Almost the EVP trigger, but it's caught. Cobb German suplexes both Bucks. Get an eliminator by Khan. Moonsault by Cobb. Again, UE looking really good tonight. Thinking, oh man, they might surprise us and give the titles to them. Wouldn't have surprised me, wouldn't have disappointed me at all. Would have been justified. Time bomb. He shouts, new team after, teaming up with Matt or Nick. I'm pretty sure it was Matt. And she even they both extend the bump. And I'm thinking it's going to be Takahashi because you can't be this foolish to trust a Jackson, a young buck. Sure enough, he turns around and leaves the opening. So not the best idea. And then sunset bomb on Nick, right into Cobb. A Destino on Matt for a very near fall. Would have loved to have seen it. And then you get a super kick and Esperanza on Cobb. EVP trigger on Naito. I'm thinking, oh crap, it's over. But Cobb saves Naito. Super kick absorbed by Khan. Not the second one though. Khan set up for the Meltzer driver. And the Bucks win the IWGP Tag Champions. I was like, what the hell are they calling this move? The commentators were calling it like something like the nod to Tony Khan. They called it the Meltzer driver. I mean, you call it the Meltzer driver, you're asking for some serious heat. They do it though, knowing they're very self-aware of what people are saying, and they only use it as fuel for fire to piss people off even more. At this point, it's not even a for control. It's just their gimmick now. It's just their form of entertainment. So, and they still make it happen. They still make it work. They're still quite a force to be reckoned with in the tag team division all around the world. And now they're the IWGP champions. So what are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to see them. Go out and see them in a lot of New Japan events, for at least for the time being, beginning of 2025. 10th match, IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. But before we do that, let's take a look. And yeah, that's what I was going to point out, is that this match only went 13 minutes and 46 seconds, more than enough time, did what it needed to do. Now we get to the 10th match, Yota Tsuji versus Jack Perry. Again, another one went just above 13 minutes. I was very impressed with what they were trying to present, what they did. They did what they needed to do. Started off, they're just, feeling each other out, but you get Tsuji hitting the double stomp from the corner to stop Perry in his tracks. But Perry hits the suicide dive, right? Hits Tsuji and then sends him to the barricade. One thing that mentioned by the commentating team is that Tsuji has just had a match against Finlay the night before, a brutal match, by the way. Well, Perry is fresh, so that's kind of working in Perry's favor to kind of give him the edge. Because beforehand, I was, when I was talking about this the night before, I was saying how kind of one-sided this thing is going to be, but they really did make it look like Tsuji could very much lose the match and the title. I wasn't really not thinking it was going to happen. Marlowe crash by Tsuji is blocked while Perry is hitting Germans, springboards. Big forearm though to shut down Perry. A variated Spanish fly by Tsuji, near fall. He sets up for the Gene Blast but gets hit with a knee by Perry. Both slow to get back up. They exchange forearms, then chops. Perry spits on his hand, then chops Tsuji. So Yota returns with hard chops and strikes. Perry able to gain momentum for a spike DDT and a pin attempt. Perry lifts but blocked a thrust kick. And Perry is back with the attack and low blow while the ref was kind of pushed from the momentum of Tsuji. He hits his Perry driver. Only a near fall though. So I was like, okay, they're still safe here. Tsuji's probably going to win this one. Perry misses the running knee, but gets another German in. They run the ropes. Perry gets caught with the Gene Blaster and the 1, 2, 3. And that's your match. Did what it needed to do. Just a great way to showcase Tsuji and Perry. Let's give Tsuji the edge. He's one of those guys throughout the last those two nights, back-to-back nights, that has worked double days and for real. And Tsuji is now elevated himself to a next level on his way to becoming main event status. He's looking better than ever. I love the hat and the gimmick. I mean, he's really like your kind of noir figure. He's really like the poster child for the LIJ right now. That's what he's becoming. And it's working. It's working. I'm sorry. It's taking some time for me. I like to let things roast in the oven, really slow cook that meat to get, a character, a gimmick where it needs to be. And this is it. He's on his way. So we get to the 11th match. This is the match of the night. This is the, just really almost pretty much the match of the whole. I mean, I may not go that far, but and say that, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's Kenny Omega it's his return match. This guy, we have no idea what to expect, but knowing Kenny Omega, you knew he was going to give you pretty much nothing short of excellence and perfection, and a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 performance from his part. And that takes nothing. Gabe Kidd did. I'll tell you, he stepped it up to a whole nother level. I've seen Gabe Kidd in his most brutal form, and he kind of exceeded it tonight. So yeah, let's say this is the match of the entire 2-night event. This match went 31 minutes and 55 seconds, exactly the amount of time it needed. Didn't need to go any more or less. You get to that 45 minute mark, you're just trying to tickle the feathers of Meltzer, of Dave Meltzer, because otherwise, you really can do everything you need to do in 31 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay. And have a match of the night or the match of 2 nights. Doesn't matter that the night before had a 43, 45, whatever minute match between Sabre and Umino. Nah, this match was it. Everybody's eyes were glued to this match. There were no breaks. There were no lulls. Everybody, very emotional crowd, very emotional opponents, very emotional commentating team. You make for a hell of a match. You make for a match of the night. So Gabe Kidd comes out with Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney. No, all business. He's rocking his tracksuit. He is just intensity overload and cursing right off the bat. Right out the backstage, right on the ramp. He's pissed because he's amped. This is his really his only gear is Gabe Kidd. For those of you that have grown to watch this guy throughout the last couple of years, no, this is Gabe Kidd. This guy is awesome. I've been saying it every single review that has to do with Gabe Kidd. I've been saying this guy is so much fun to watch. It's so intense. Yeah, you do not want to get in the way of this guy when he's walking. Like a freight train, you will get hit with a brick and thrown to the walls, and you will probably crap yourself and piss yourself in the event of crossing paths with good old Gabe Kidd. Here we go. So he takes off the tracksuit, all right, and he's rocking trunks, like short trunks, with the War Dogs logo on one, but the first logo we see is the New Japan Pro Wrestling logo, the Lion, King of Sports. No jokes here. He is repping New Japan. Yes, Bullet Club is kind of its own thing, and they kind of rep like themselves on that matter. And yes, there is a faction of just, you could say, I'm outside a regular faction, therefore I'm New Japan, and I rep only New Japan. They're like New Japan faithful, if you will. But when you have a match like this between Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega, who really was New Japan for the international scene, and then made his way to create AEW with his friends and Tony Khan, and essentially abandoned New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was a match to make a statement saying that New Japan is strong as ever. It's stronger than when you left it, and it's stronger than when you were here. He's making the statement, and honestly, as much as people want to say it, people have been saying it on podcasts. They've been saying things like, "Oh, well, I don't even care anymore about these cross-promotional events because we already got all the key players from New Japan." I hope you watched this card, and now you're thinking twice about saying something stupid like that, okay? Because New Japan Pro Wrestling has always been, this promotion has always been a wrestler maker, okay? And it won't stop. We're going to get into this, especially as the commentating team was getting into it. But really, just a lot to be said just by that one shot of Gabe Kidd taking off the trunk shoot and showing off those New Japan Pro Wrestling trunks. No knee pads. He's going old school. He's got his demon mask, Ani mask tattoo all over the knee. It's brutal. Anyone will tell you the kneecaps are one of the most painful places to get a tattoo. Making a statement with that gear. The dude is ready to fight. All right. Out comes Omega, standard Omega, just looking as good as Omega will ever look. Just a little bit slimmer than he was, before he left. His legs, you could just tell he's just a little bit smaller, but he's still looking like $1 million. Okay. And you can tell this guy has essentially been taking time off more than just, I'm sorry, but it's more than about the diverticulitis. He wanted to take time off. He's trying to now conserve his years and make sure he's going to have the best matches he can possibly have while he can still do it and save himself. That's what he's doing. He's taking the back. He's heading the back scenes, the backstage scenes of the industry. He's not worried about going every single week and make it. So he kind of I mean, I don't want to say he overplayed the diverticulitis because my family, I have family members who have had diverticulitis, and I know it's serious, and even my mom had a condition similar to diverticulitis. It's very dangerous, and it can destroy parts of your body. Will leave you with a colostomy bag. You'll be forced to, essentially defecate into a bag for the rest of your life. So it's serious, but they caught it. He's taken his antibiotics. He's done his healing. I'm pretty sure it's gone. But yes, I'm sure it can come back, and I'm sure he's got to monitor it, and I'm sure maybe he's a little rusty in the ring. But he's Kenny Omega. He is at 100%, this guy. All right. We'll get into it throughout the match. And it's Kenny Omega. So I got to, we're going to give him we're going to give him a pass on some of these things because it is Kenny Omega. We get right into it. Right off the start, Gabe Kidd, shoulder tackle. Big shoulder tackle. Kick by Kenny Omega, one from Kidd. Kidd is not messing around. This guy, I knew this was going to be a hard-hitting match, and Kidd is not going to give him he's going to give him no slack, Kenny Omega. Okay, you chose your opponent. You chose well, but now you're in for a night. You get a beautiful moonsault though by Omega following the Simone drop. Again, Omega's looking like $1 million. He's doing things perfectly like he always does. He'll sell moves and make it look like he's not doing so well. And then all of a sudden he hits something to perfection. You know he's okay. Yet Chris Charlton pointed out a very good point. What many New Japan pro wrestling fans like myself have been saying is that Omega left, and not only that, he started taking other like key players from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Obviously, the first person you can think of is Okada. When you take the John Cena of your promotion away from you, that's going to piss people off. Top that off, let's go ahead and take Will Ospreay while we're at it. So now you take Will Ospreay. Oh, let's take somebody who's even really set himself to the peak of his potential. It's Jay White. Let's take him too. Yeah. Meanwhile, we've already left with the Bucks. Meanwhile, the Bucks, even Cody Rhodes was doing a little bit of New Japan time. He's gone. We're going to keep Ricochet from ever, really working with you guys permanently. They've taken so many people. So you really expect that, the fans to be happy with seeing Kenny Omega back in the New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. It was mixed. You could hear the boos, and you could hear people chanting Gabe Kidd like he was the New Japan Pro Wrestling savior. And he really was in this match, and he's really showed it. And this night has showed everybody that this company is still has some key players. We are very much invested in the show. And those of you that were, leave that don't watch the show like they've lost all their key players or we're never really loyal fans. You just weren't that interested. That's okay. You could be invested in the stuff in the West, and that's fine. But can't tell me that they're done. They've proven now with this card that the cross-promotional aspect is still very much a beneficial thing for all these types of companies, these alternative brands to WWE. Where the hell do you go off saying that this is not a benefit? Before 2-3 years ago, it's like, oh, this is perfect to get some, audiences on both sides of the spectrum. Terrible for you to say that it was over, and you know who you are, but it's okay. We're not mad at you. It's just something I think you kind of literally overspoke in that matter. It's just this isn't your field. This isn't your place. This is the niche that someone like me will tell you about because this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been focusing on. And hey, I obviously don't have any subscribers or fans like you guys, but sorry. But if you want to go toe to toe on this argument, yes, I'm going to point it out, and beat it into the ground for that matter. The other thing that really kind of cranks my gears on this issue, really is the fact, and this is something that I almost forgot about. I really am forgetting. I'm drawing a blank because I think I've said enough. But hear the ambulance now. It's kind of confusing me here. One of the things that you know what? It's going to come to me, obviously, if I just talk about the match. Let's just keep going with the match. You get a big suplex spill to the outside. Both lie on the floor. Kidd slams Omega to the apron, then tosses him to the barricade. Kidd sets up tables, calls the AEW official a bitch. He gets hit with a plancha by Omega. All of a sudden, Omega is selling his gut. I'm sorry, man, but that's not how it works. Getting hit like here is not going to affect your internal organs the same way that it's not. I'm sorry. This is not how it works. He didn't recently have surgery of the internal organs and now they're shifting. None of that is happening. Okay. So the sell it's a little lowbrow to put it nicely. I'm glad he's okay. That's all I can say is that I'm glad Kenny Omega is okay. This was kind of a silly sell. And the commentators are talking about the gut and this would actually play a factor in his performance. Like diverticulitis works that way. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. And I do not want to ever hear any stupid comments about some anecdotal story that someone that you're related to points out that, oh, well, it actually does. So you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, shut that shit down, please. Sorry. It's not going to happen. That's not what's happening with Kenny Omega. So shut it down. But still, no, shut it down. Anywho, you get, after the big sell, right? Big suplex. Let's see. Sorry. Dragon suplex by Omega on the floor. I mean, beautiful. Like 0 to 100 in a second. Okay. By Omega. This guy is perfect. Okay. With that Snapdragon suplex. There are a lot of people booing him. Booing Omega as he sets up a powerbomb into the tables, which he does just that. Busts Kidd wide open on the forehead. Oh, man. Kenny Omega's going to work, pounding the face. I mean, you can see heel Kenny coming out big time. All right. This is not like, oh, we're just so happy to see Kenny Omega, who's overcome impossible odds, face Kenny Omega. No. This is Kenny Omega, leader of AEW, super mega boss, final boss hero, Kenny Omega. Might as well have Don Callis with him right now. Or Tony Khan, literally as his valet. Might as well just get him as the valet. And that's it. Okay, just sitting there with that goofy look and those spacey eyes, clapping his hand. Yay, Kenny! You're awesome, man! You're awesome! Anywho, sorry. We get, so he all of a sudden after he does this nice, beautiful, again, swanton, everything this guy does, I'm going to keep saying it is beautiful. He's now selling his hip, which that makes sense, okay? Because he might have banged it up on the ramp, whatever. Looks, he's selling for real. It's believable. He kicks the young cub aside because the young cub took too long to give him a bag of ice. Okay, so he's a heel, all right? And Chris Charles is pissed off. He's shouting at Omega, and then you get Kidd setting up the table, suplexes Omega. He sets up like a vertical incline and slams Omega into it, busts him open. This is great. And the War Dogs are going nuts. Okay, after that. At one point, Kidd is biting the wound of Omega. Great spot. War Dogs, Drilla, and Clark Connors, they're just tossing everything around. They're getting so pissed. They're amped. I mean, this is the match. They know this is the match of the night and the match of the two-night event. This is the match of Wrestle Kingdom / Dynasty. Bunch of chairs being thrown into the ring. They start at one point they traded chair shots to the head. Omega, though, he hits 2 head shots, 2 or 3. And then, and at one point, he does some kind of a variation like claw-like bulldog does Omega, slamming Kidd. This is prior to the headshots into the chair, the pile of chairs. We get suplexed by Kidd, lands Omega on the pile of chairs. Cheers, like he's a babyface. Is Gabe Kidd? We're talking about Gabe Kidd. This guy who comes out and just calls everybody a bitch, tells everybody to F off, tells everybody to F you. Okay. He's got the dirtiest mouth in all of pro wrestling. He's just a British roughneck, okay? Hard knocks, all right? Anyways, Omega at some point blocks a chair shot. He headbutts Kidd, hits him with the dragon suplex again. They exchanged, we talked about the chair shots exchanges. Just Omega lands a few more than one. They exchange strikes. You get big knee strikes from Omega, even bigger lariat from Kidd, back up and more attacks from Kidd. But Omega lands the Frankensteiner, basically, is what it was. They're in 4th gear now. You get big tope Terminator from Omega. Missile drop kick from the top goes Omega. Corner to corner V trigger. I mean, you're seeing textbook stuff here. Places Kidd up on the 2nd turnbuckle. Omega hits the dragon suplex from the top rope. Just a near fall, then a Drilla, but still a 2 count. Omega calls for the V trigger. Lands, then goes for the 1 wing angel, but cannot lift Kidd. Regains momentum and gets him up, but Kidd counters to the abdominal stretch. Great, get a lot of pop for that. Then a German, Omega with a weak lariat. Kidd responds with a lariat, and a pile driver. Get some sort of variations of pile drivers by Kidd. Gets the nearest fall, but Omega with the rope break to stop the pin attempt. He lifts Omega, who blocks a suplex, hits an enziguri and some kicks, a V trigger, power bomb and another V trigger. But only 1 count. of the pin. Omega grabs the arms of Kidd for a V trigger that can only follow up by the one-wing angel. It's executed. No one gets up from that. Omega is your winner. He attempted like one-wing angel prior, and he lifted him up and just couldn't get him up. You knew this was it. Omega, no, like thank you to the audience, really, just like a hands up, walks off like all business, no speech at the end. Meanwhile, you got Takahashi over here in tears, trying to get as many tears as possible for this emotional moment. What does that say? I mean, like I said, he should be crying about his shit show slapfest with Shibata earlier in this night. That's what he should be crying about. I'm sorry. That's what it's about. And that's your match of the night. Okay. I will say this. It just goes to show that really there are so many wrestlers that are available at the disposal of New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's still, in my opinion, and we'll hear from Zack Sabre Jr. at the end of this night, New Japan Pro Wrestling is still the best. Okay, you can at me all you want. They're still the ones doing their thing. They've been doing it this way for decades. They still haven't deviated enough. Yes, they're doing a cross-promotional event. That's basically a Night 2 Wrestle Kingdom that they used. They got support from other promotions, and this was a very tactful decision and approach. And as far as I'm concerned, it worked. You got a Gabe Kidd who is getting more cheers from the fans than I've ever seen for Gabe Kidd, because quite frankly, he is fighting for those that are loyal to New Japan Pro Wrestling. For those of you that aren't familiar with all the wrestlers that are doing what they're doing in New Japan, and make no mistake about it, Konosuke Takeshita, he's coming. I'm telling you, he may not be coming to, he may still be AEW, but guess what? Now has a title in New Japan. What does that say? Now his time really is split. He's doing Battle of the Valley. You can already look at the card. He's already set to face, forget who he's facing, but we're gonna look at the card real quick. But yeah, he's already there. So he's becoming more and more the guy for New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can't tell me that New Japan doesn't have all the tools needed and guys that make this promotion quite irrelevant. Okay, quite relevant. All right. And now here's the thing. This is what I wanted to talk about one more time before we get to this. Here's the thing with Kenny Omega. He was the trigger to get, and this is what Charlton was saying, is what people were saying, is like, oh, he's the guy of New Japan for international. Everyone who started watching New Japan from the West watched because of Kenny Omega. There's some truth behind that. It's not 100% all true. And here's why. Just remember one thing. AJ Styles was already in New Japan prior. He was doing it. And anybody who was familiar with TNA and Impact, everyone knows who the hell AJ Styles was. Since like 2000, if you are a hardcore wrestling fan going back to 2002 or 3, you know who the hell AJ Styles is. Okay? And even though I never really truly invested in TNA like I really needed to, I mean, I had a lot of fun with the Aces and Eights, right? I had a little good time, watching matches like between Kurt Angle and Joe, and Kurt Angle and Styles. Excuse me, Styles and Joe, and Christopher Daniels and Styles. All these guys, there were some great matches, but here's the thing about Styles. He really didn't become his best self until he left TNA, went to New Japan, did some time in Ring of Honor again, pretty much reinvented himself, came to the WWE as this new full package AJ Styles. Okay? So everybody who was watching it knew what was up. I was watching AJ Styles and like making appearances in Ring of Honor and also making appearances, and he was repping the Bullet Club. Okay? So you can't tell me that it was Kenny Omega who did it. He was the kind of the last bastion of guys from the West that brought all the viewers into New Japan Pro Wrestling. But before him, it was definitely Styles. Anybody who's the leader of the Bullet Club had a eyes on them from the West. The Bullet Club is a Western faction. Okay, there's a reason, but we won't get into that. But let's talk about Prince Devitt or Finn Balor. When he came to NXT, all eyes were on Finn Balor next. Anybody who's watching NXT, I started watching more NXT with eyes on Finn Balor, thinking, who the hell is this guy? Come to find out, he's the first leader of the Bullet Club. So come on. You think that didn't make me think, oh shit, I got to watch more New Japan? You think we haven't been like keeping an eye on New Japan? Been keeping an eye on New Japan since they formed an NWO Japan faction. Okay, we knew who the hell since Hulk Hogan made his way, since Ric Flair made his way, since the times of the Great Muta. The eyes have always been in Japan. Since the times when Bret Hart would say, "Oh, if you want to train to be a wrestler, you better take your ass to Japan," because they know how to do it. So you can't tell me it's Kenny Omega that is the Lord and Savior of New Japan Pro Wrestling to open the gates and spread the Red Sea to make the connection between the West and the East. Get the hell out of here. It's 2024. The internet's been going on for 24 years at least. Shit. I'm talking about in the homes of others. Obviously, the internet's a pretty damn old thing, more mid 20th century, but the internet was really taking off in the 90s, obviously, mid 90s, and you cannot tell me that people were already keeping an eye on New Japan, especially with AJ Styles. I'd love to see Styles and Omega go at it. You know, I'd love to see Styles get a little bit of a break from WWE just so he can go to AEW and be like, look, dumbass. We both still have one more great match, and I'll take it to you. Oh, here's another guy I totally forgot about. A little guy by the name of Shinsuke Nakamura. Do you think that when Nakamura came to the NXT and was looking like the freaking leader of the Yakuza, kicking everybody's asses and then winning the Royal Rumble and making his rise, you think people weren't trying to put two and two together, being like, hey, this guy's from New Japan. This guy was leader of Chaos. One time, I guess he was leader of Chaos for Okada. Okay. You know? So yes, it was Kenny Omega. After all this time, all this information sinking into our brains, if we hadn't already ordered New Japan World, oh, by the way, in comes New Japan World at 9.99 yen. You can go ahead and buy it and watch all the New Japan you want and go ahead and watch Wrestle Kingdom. You think that didn't say, okay, that alone would have gotten me to become a member. And I've been a member since. And first big event that I watched, Kenny Omega versus Okada. You got to give props to Okada for that. Got to give props to every single individual who put on a show at that Wrestle Kingdom because they all brought you in. If I just went to see Kenny Omega, then I would have been done with the subscription like a month or two later. Yeah, I got into Naito immediately. I was like, turned towards Naito, and I was like, this is the coolest wrestler I've seen in a long time. Comes to be my favorite wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling and one of my favorite wrestlers in the whole industry. Still to this day. So now, Kenny Omega is one of the key factors connecting the East to the West, but he is not responsible for which I think it was Rocky Romero's foolish remark that he said. Obviously, he's all elite, so he's going to say something stupid like this to say that, oh, he's responsible, you know, for making the connections between Western viewers and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Get the hell out of here, Rocky. You really are saying something that you got to be careful with because what you're saying, we know that you mean it, or in the least you're presenting it as something that you are meaning. You know it's not true. Probably could have dropped a few more names like AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and definitely Kazuchika Okada. While we're at it, throw in the Great Muta. Anyways, on that note, that's that. And for those of you who want to give me heat for that, you can go ahead and come on, bring it in. Last match, main event, 12th match of the night, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet. Sabre coming off like a 40-something minute match with Shota Umino. Definitely advantage Ricochet. Ricochet is looking beast. Still don't think it was going to happen. And sure enough, it did not. Sabre was able to keep things at his own pace. Every single time Ricochet tried to take things to another level, it's Sabre we're talking about. He's the one calling this match. He's the one that can always turn things around. If you don't believe me, prior to the match, go ahead and watch Will Ospreay Sabre match, and you'll see what we're talking about. And they pointed it out. The commentators did. For those of you that were not sure what was going to happen, look no further than Ospreay and Sabre. You're in for a treat. This was the match for the pro wrestlers match. Great match. It went a total of 20 minutes and 57 seconds. Not nearly as long as, understandably so. Sabre's not going to go another 40 minutes. I didn't need to. It did what he needed to do. The match of the night already occurred. This was just kind of to cap it all off. Did it excellently. Did what needed to do. Sabre knew his place You knew he was not like the guy of the night. He's kind of the guy to kind of wrap things up and show you. He was the eulogy, the epilogue to tell the audience, hey, we're the best. Come watch New Japan still. We're still bringing it to you. And so he did. But let's talk about this match in detail. Before Zack Sabre can even make his way into the ring, you get a front kick from Ricochet, suicide dive, springboard missile dropkick, an overtop splash, 450 splash. Sabre shuts that down with his strikes and tying up his opponent. Just like that, it's at his pace. Ricochet caught in the cravat into a snap twist. Looked great on the outside. Then back in the ring, again, Indian deathlock set up by Sabre. He was called by Chris Charlton the submission jazz musician, and that truly is what he is. It's a great little moniker. Ricochet gets his footing for a flurry of offense. You know you're going to see it coming. Ricochet sends Sabre, who is on the back end of the corner pad. You get a combination of strikes by Ricochet. Again, looking better than ever. Sabre catches Ricochet, but just for a moment. Gets hit with a fireman's carry slam and near falling. Misses the elbow, but Sabre does not. Ricochet gets caught in a 2 dragon suplexes. Pin attempt. A suplex by Ricochet on the apron, then on the floor. Very cool. Never saw the suplex on the apron, then all of a sudden holds on, hits him on the floor. That was something new. For those of you that watch AEW now, you're still probably watching more than me. You've seen Ricochet make his AEW debut, and you're seeing this new Ricochet that we all knew was coming. We all knew that he was capable of, and everybody was looking forward to it. So this is now the new Ricochet that you guys have already grown accustomed to. And I'm appreciating it a lot because I didn't want to see a Ricochet just go balls to the wall, whole hog, and just give me a freaking shoot, like, a spot fest. I don't need to see that. What I'm seeing here is a guy who's taking it a little bit more gritty, doing things that you don't normally see, but it's not a spot fest. It's just, if anything, it's more like methodical stuff that with a dash of the high risk. Loving it. Loving this Ricochet. So, back in the ring, Ricochet, he goes in, but Sabre, he almost loses the 20 count, would have lost the title, makes his way back in at 20 seconds. They're cursing each other. Let's do this. Start chopping each other, get uppercut by Sabre, more uppercuts. These uppercuts by Sabre are as sharp as they get. Okay. So he gets caught by the knee of Ricochet, get a big Zack driver from the top rope. Very near fall. But then to the Fujiwara armbar by Sabre. Ricochet is quick to go to the rope. Not going to let that last. Sabre slams his foot onto the elbow of Ricochet. This is textbook Sabre. Kicks to the chest. One gets caught. Then a Pele kick. And that's by Sabre, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, big kick from Ricochet, though. Get like an inverted Falcon Arrow by Ricochet. I'm sure some mark out there has a name for it that I can't even pronunciate. And you get the shooting star. Beautiful shooting star by Ricochet. Just connects, high risk, lands on his target, but only a 2 count. He drops the foot right on the head. It's like a front kick slam, like a, a guillotine kick right on the head. The front head of Sabre. It looks sick. Clearly he's done this before in AEW, and this is the type of stuff that he did apparently to Swerve Strickland, which was discussed by Rocky Romero about this brutality that he showed in his last match this past Wednesday night on Dynamite. Then you get the you get this slam from Ricochet. I don't even know what to call it for the near fall. Don't even know what the hell to call it. You get a 630 by Ricochet. All right, off the top, you've seen it before if you've watched Ricochet, but it's missed. Brutal landing. Sabre hits the punt kick, Zack driver, but only 2. Then he hits this cross-legged slam counter to a roll-up by Ricochet. Both back up. There's strikes by Ricochet. Zack catches Ricochet in the submission. Where I've never really quite heard the name for this, but once he gets a hold of a limb, he starts turning you inside out and tying you up. You know it's only a matter of time before Ricochet vocally taps out, submits, and it's over. Zack Sabre quickly, soon after, gets on the mic. He thanks Ricochet for this performance. Clearly, Ricochet, gave the nod to Sabre. Didn't have to, but he is taking a big L but it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's showcasing himself on the main event of Wrestle Dynasty. He's on a level that he has never been, and he never would have had this opportunity if he had stayed in WWE. So he is doing so much, and he's probably so happy to be in this alternative realm of pro wrestling, because really, that's what it's about. It's not just about AEW. It's about having access to all the promotions. This is a number one selling point for AEW. If you're going to join a contract with them, basically they're signing contracts that says, well, hey, if I want to work with you, I'm going to be able to work with whoever I want within reason. That's all they need. That's why it makes it so beautiful. One day, and I tell you, if this happens, this really is the end of the monopolized era. This is a juggernaut era. This is goes well over one simple era. This goes back pretty much since the days of WCW ending. The last 24 years have been one. You can have named all these stupid little eras: the PG era, the reality era, the new era, the Renaissance, whatever we want to call it. It was the WWE juggernaut monopoly era, where essentially wrestlers could not do real business outside of the WWE without busting their asses working the indie scene. Now, finally, the alternative has come in AEW on the West, where you could still work, have your family live in the States, and still do things that you want to do. And yes, AEW is still going. It may not be, obviously it's not making the profits that the WWE, but that's not the point. The point is it's still working, and everyone that's doing it is doing it because they love it, and they have access to an opportunity to be able to negotiate. And if, this is my point, if the WWE begins doing cross-promotional contracts or works or events to the point where they start to lighten up on this idea, there wasn't that long, there was a time during the golden era where the WWE would be like, go ahead and work in New Japan, or not New Japan, all Japan. Go ahead and work in Japan. Go ahead and work in Mexico. Go ahead and do some indie work while you're at it. Well, you can do that as long as you do what we tell you to do, as long as you don't mess up with one of our events. There was a time. Now, fast forward, you're most likely not able to see a WWE worker. No, we have not seen it. The only one we've really seen was Chris Jericho, and that's it. Chris Jericho is the only one, and he really doesn't count because he had reached a level where he could pretty much do whatever he wanted. But anyways, going back to Ricochet, doing great, and Sabre thanks him for the opportunity for the match. Sabre switches to English, says New Japan is the best effing promotion on this round earth. For those of you flat earthers that don't know what the hell he's talking about planet Earth, which is in fact round. He's probably doing that as a troll to you assholes that actually think this planet is flat. But sorry, I don't want to be mean. Okay, you believe whatever you want to believe. Pro wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, he had stated that pro wrestling is hotter than ever. It's the future is bright as ever. But New Japan is effing orange. It's referring to his Mighty Don't Kneel faction and their signature orange color. He's saying we run this. We're pretty much, this is our year. We're not going anywhere. He's pointing out to his team, his faction, how they already have the junior heavyweight championships, and they're going to get straps on everybody else. I am very curious to see where the Mighty Don't Kneel go, because honestly, aside from Fujita, Kosei Fujita, and I'm trying to think. Let's go back to let's look real quick at the Wrestle Kingdom, because I'm also going to look at the Battle of the Valley and what's going on there. Let's see. I'm trying to think. It was Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles usually works. I'm looking because I'm already drawing blanks here. He's currently with Kosei Fujita, but there was a time when Kosei was kind of out, and really it's almost like a Midnight Express or what Rock and Roll Express rules, whatever you want to call it, the Freebird rule with these guys, especially with these factions. There's another third member of the Mighty Don't Kneel that works with the Super Juniors. And I'm trying to get this quick. moving along. Let's see. No. Let's see what we got here. They're just making it like difficult for me. I'm just going to look at the faction rule. Right. So, Shane Haste. Jeez. Man, Shane Haste was definitely working with Robbie Eagles on junior tag team matches. You got Bad Dude Tito. I haven't seen him. Obviously you've got too much. Oiwa, Ryohei Oiwa is making his way. But I do want to see some more Shane Haste and Robbie, oi. And obviously Zach is the front man. He's got the strap. Doesn't really matter. As long as he has the gold, they run the show. But we will see for how long he runs it. And that is your review for Wrestle Dynasty. I know it's a lot. It's been an hour and 35 minutes, but this was a stacked card. And I'm probably not going to do another review anytime too soon. I'm going to be working. Going to be taking the class. Yeah, doing a little side class. Going to be doing some work. So, and not too concerned. Going to watch the Royal Rumble, obviously the WWE Royal Rumble. Thinking, just a heads up, I'm thinking that CM Punk is going to win this one finally. He's going to get that main event spot. Probably be night one, but still a main event on WrestleMania. He's going to get his dream. It's going to come true. But we also have the Battle of the Valley coming up. This is a nice little upcoming event, January 11th. And it's already posted on Cage Match .net. Konosuke Takeshita is taking on Kushida. Yeah, Takeshi's going to win that one. Zack Sabre versus Hechicero. Non-title match. Like it needed to be, please. Gabe Kidd versus Tomohiro Ishii. Yeah, this is a strong open weight title match. Whatever. And Gabe Kidd's still the champ of that. I didn't see him with that title when he came out to face Kenny Omega. Definitely, I think Gabe Kidd's going to win this one. Or maybe Ishii will win it, and then they'll have another rematch between Ishii and Konosuke Takeshita where they merge these titles, these open weight titles. It's okay. Maybe one. Why the hell do I need a strong and a never? Like, what the hell is a never? Was it never like a old faction, an old program on New Japan Pro Wrestling? I mean, what the hell are we talking about? It's done. I mean, or just merge it and just call it the strong never open weight. Never strong. The never strong open weight title match. Title. Now, I'm getting goofy here. But there's not much going on here. You got Roppongi Revice, Rocky Romero, and Yo. I do love Yo. Do love me some Yo. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I'm missing Yo. I'm surprised Yo hasn't made like more of an appearance in these last two nights. We got Hiromu Takahashi and Mayu Iwatani and Yuka Sakazaki versus House of Torture. Evil Show. Sumi Sakai. Interesting. You got Fred Rozier and Matt Vandegrift versus the Mighty Don't Kneels, Bad Dude Tito, and Shane Haste. There you go. One point sooner or later, I will watch these matches. I'm not going to pay money for this. That's for damn sure. But hopefully it's included in our subscriptions. And that is your Wrestle Dynasty review. It's been fun, guys. I've had a lot of fun. Feeling a lot better than I did a couple days ago with this. Originally, I had a fever. And just the allergies were really taking out my sinuses and my throat. Been taking lozenges. I took some medication to open up the sinuses and some spray. Sorry if I was for the sniffles. Believe me, I am not on some sort of Grand Theft Auto Vice City addiction, if you know what I mean. No, it's not happening. Feeling good about the Lions. This is definitely the one of the silver linings to the shit show that was 2024. It feels good to finally make it to the Super Bowl. This is something that anyone who knows me knows I've been waiting for a very, very long time. So next time, like I said, maybe do something for a Rumble. Probably not, but I will watch it. Not sure what's going to happen with AEW. I will start to ease back into Dynamite. They've just, what the problem, everyone will tell you, will agree with me on this. The reason why AEW did so bad, it's so hard to watch for someone like me, is that it's overwhelming in its content now. It has all these different shows, and this is nothing new. If anything, hopefully they've dropped. I'm pretty sure they dropped certain shows, but I'm pretty sure they still have Collision and Dynamite, right? Which is, again, for an alternative, I don't need 2 shows, but whatever. You got 2 shows. I sure as hell didn't need Rampage. I hope that's over with, or Battle of the Belts or some crap like that. I don't need PLEs like I'm doing it monthly when you're paying $40 to $50. That's going to completely turn me off to your products. Unless you're ready to drop an announcement that you now have a network and we're going to be watching PLEs, or maybe you made a deal with HBO or Max or whatever, or maybe make a deal with one of these other streaming networks and get the ball rolling, because I ain't paying for no $50 for PLEs back to back. Hell no. Go to hell. Those are the days of the 90s. We were crazy, making all kinds of bad choices. It's not happening. So yeah, you better get yourself a damn network and give us a 9, if you want to do that monthly shit. Otherwise, you make a point that you're only going to have maybe 5 PLEs, 6 at most, every other month, no more. And that's it. And I'll pay the $45, $50 for your event. I will do it, but I'm not doing it every month. Go to hell. As soon as I get wind that there are 2 PLEs that are too close to each other, I'm going to tell you to go F yourself. It's not going to happen. So that is part of it. The other part is the way that the booking is going. I am hearing more and more of things that are going on. And yes, maybe it sounds better. It's better in practice than it does sound amongst the IWC. But what I'm hearing doesn't sound too good. Hearing things like Tony Khan just basically booking for himself, so to speak, which is not something new. It just sounds like now it's become more negatively apparent, which I don't want to hear. So you're just going to keep me off. I already have enough wrestling to watch. I already have a life. I'm living in Germany. I'm living in Europe. You think that my number one concern is to not miss what's going on in pro wrestling? I'm over here exploring the world. So sorry. We're doing dog sledding in Norway soon. Okay, what do you got to say about that? Okay, hunting down the Aurora Borealis. Think I'm worried about a Hangman Adam Page winning the title? No, go F you. So, that being said, sorry, I know it's a bittersweet laugh, makes me come off like an asshole, and yes, maybe I am a little, but hey, it's earned. Now here's the thing. I'm going to come back and, definitely keep an eye out for the next big show. If I feel like I can do something for New Year's Dash, I'll do it. And obviously, I'll be there for the summer. But I'll keep an eye out for Dominion. Again, it'll be coming soon enough. Let's look at one more thing before I go. I just want to look at, I might as well just take a quick look while we're here and look for, I'm just going to look at New Japan, because it's been a minute. Just going to look at events for 2025. They made an announcement. Obviously, the big one is the Battle of the Valley. But I'm not I'm not concerned about. It's not that big. You can already tell it's not going to be that crazy. They have some international events that I did see. I know it looked good. Like the Windy City Riot. That'll be Friday, April 11th. That will probably they will probably force you to pay money, to more money than your subscription. So again, they'll F themselves. I'm sorry. Got a lot of sand. It takes a lot of boldness to try to get more money out of me when I'm already paying a monthly subscription. You obviously got the new beginning. I could very well do something for the final match, final event of that series, the road to new beginning, and then the actual new beginning. Could do something like that. And of course, New Year's Dash. And that moving forward, we will get back. Keep an eye out, as always, for some reviews that I might do. Who knows? Like I said, I do the Royal Rumble. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Just about to hit the 1 minute 45 mark. No, what did I say? 1 minute 40? 1 hour and 45 minutes. Yes. Gonna do some more work. Try to take it easy for my classes tomorrow. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Take care.